Good morning, I'm Corey with Polar Electric Contracting. Today we're installing a 100 amp service to this house that just got moved here from Edmonton out to Leduc County. It's a lot of existing. We installed a new panel because they had a pretty old Bulldog panel and they just don't make breakers or anything for them anymore, and yeah, it's old and not reliable. So they plan on building a deck in there to raise it up so the panel's not terribly high. We've already tied into where the old overhead service was. We buried a new ground plate. It's been trenched all the way out to the pole. We went with the Teck cable on this one just because the homeowner got a great deal on it and it ended up being cheaper than our USEB. So that's what we're using here. And on the bright side, we didn't have to bury it so deep in the tough areas. So we're just at the part where we're going to connect the service to the pole and leave it isolated and call for inspection later today. I should be here in about a couple hours, so since we have that called. And here we have it. We have it laid in there thus far. You always want to have a service loop. Yeah, here's the show. We have it isolated just because we've been in there and knocked out the hole and all that. So I'm gonna set you folks down here and hopefully you guys can see most of this, and we'll show you how to enter a cable and strip and dress a Teck cable properly and all that good stuff. So the reason why we put a service loop in the cable is for the freeze and thaw cycles we have here in Alberta. The ground shifts drastically. So I like to put a service loop in there to act a little bit like a spring. Yeah, we'll pretty that up a little later. We got to get this in for the inspector. But yeah, we don't want to pull all the nice PVC off the pole or out of the meter or off the house. So it's a good idea to put in a service loop. All right. We're just gonna move some stuff a little closer to the hole to make it more efficient. Just because I was digging a little earlier, didn't want to bury it all. I like to put the connector on first, just because it protects the conductors when you're entering into the enclosure. Sometimes there's jagged edges. And this is just the usual battle with aluminum stuff. Aluminum lockering and all that fun stuff, but it's not really fun. Let's take this part off, make it easier to deal with. Not always easiest. I got what's going on. Sometimes they won't thread in all the way, but we need it to thread on good and make good contact. But sometimes there's a manufacturer's defect, and I can't get the lock ring on it at all. So hang tight, I'll be back with another. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Hopefully it goes better. Yes, okay. Good thing we had a spare. Do it up nice and tight, maintain our armor bond. All right, so now we're just gonna measure how long we need to make our PVC sleeve. Get her down to the mud. I think if we go 40 inches, that'll be enough to satisfy code here. I'll go 40. Oh, lost some fingers. I don't have to worry about too much with edges. I like to get all the burrs off though and just face the cut end down. We're just gonna sleeve it in till we can maybe make the right cut. You know what? We could probably go a little longer on it. But for now, I get stripping the jacket here. That'll actually give it room to move up and down, but we should protect it a little higher. You can cut this around worry-free, just because the armor inside. Always cut away from yourself, obviously. And that just peels off. It's like snake skin. And I like to leave at least 3 little knuckles in the armor, because you need the jacket to grab the rubber grommet to keep it liquid tight, and you still need about 1.25 inches of armor so it can grab into the teeth of the connector and ensure a good bond on the armor. So I don't like to use a saw when cutting this, just because done a lot of high voltage work and stuff, and even scoring a conductor is bad news. And I just like to play it safe, and a file's really not that much more work, because it is just an aluminum sheath you're cutting through. Okay, I gotta just get some leverage on this. Yeah, see, wee bit more and we're already through. And then you can twist it again, opposite way that it's coiled. One, to loosen up the coils, and it just makes it easier for removal. And then, see, we separated where we filed. Nice clean strip. Conductors are safe. And you can always get in there, trim things up if they're a little sharp, and make everything all nice. There we have it. So since we got a whole stick, we are gonna make this. All right, there we go. Trying to get it down a little better to make this easier to put into the meter base, because it's gonna be a little bit of a wrestle. Always is with these bigger conductors into a small spot. And again, this has been energized, or de-energized, sorry. Bit of a fight. Another reason the service loop makes life a little easier. Highly suggested, and it's going to be extremely hard without one. It's lovely. Whee. Oh. A little bit of a breather. Get her heck at it here. Alrighty. Now, it's not totally necessary, but I myself, I like to put at least a strap on the sleeve, just so it's not moving a whole bunch when you're burying it and that sort of thing. Because we want to keep it where it's meant to go. Unfortunately, you have to accommodate for this sideways service entry cable as well. But this should keep us where we need to be. Okay. All right. Now that we have it glanded and sleeved, we can start with the termination of the cable. So the ground, we buried a plate at the house, as I said earlier. So this one, it's just not necessary. So we're just gonna trim it up and keep it out of the way. Start by untwisting. Normally there's a bare neutral for USEB, but we're gonna go with an insulated one with the Teck cable instead of using the ground, just cause it's bigger. So, from the look of how things are with this one, it's going to prove a little bit easier to do the neutral first. I guess we'll try to bring it into the back. Bring the existing one down a little more, just so we can work a little better, because it's pretty tight in here. I'll give you guys a close-up after we're all done. This is just the best way I can make a video out in the middle of a farm field. Still choking on that dust a bit. All right. There we go. Myself, I like to leave a little bit of slack. Just, oh, there's my knife. Just for future, so it's not super short. And again, it's probably a fantastic thing that this thing is aluminum, or we'd be having a bad time. Okay, let's this one loosen up. Our cable length is going to be roughly there. Set of eagle beaks work just fine. I find with the bigger cables, if you go around while you squeeze, it makes them not so hard to cut. And the strip on this is about 3/4 of an inch. I like to score it, not cut through, just so it has a nice line. And you can tear it the rest of the way. That way the conductor's not scored. That's okay. Bend that behind your A-phase. And we'll try to squeeze it right. Oh yeah, she's not easy. And this is why it's dead. All right, since it's blue, we have to phase it to the proper color, so I like to put a few bands of white on there. And again, we'll show you the close-up after. I'm gonna go with just 4 bands, just for the sake of it. I find it's just a little bit more prettier. That's good. A little bit more prettier than taping the whole thing, because that could look pretty ugly after a while. And I like to keep things neat if at all possible. Now we'll tighten down the neutral. Aluminum, you want it nice and tight, but there we go. That seems to be the right amount now for now. All right, now we can push that phase back and back. Now we will go with phase B. There's our wheel cutter, like so. Again, if you squeeze while you go around with eagle beaks, just makes light work of cutting bigger cable. Same strip, about 3/4 of an inch, scored around, and it tears. Boom. And this is why any new construction, I highly suggest oversized meter socket like this one here, because the older style, man, this would be not fun at all. And I'm using my pliers just because they don't have too terribly long handles. It makes it harder to over tighten, because you do not want to strip the lugs. Ugh. Just enough to keep it nice and tight. You always give it a tug test, but those aren't going anywhere. Alright, well, candy that there. Last one. 8 phases. Maybe just like that. Perfect. And again, cut it with some eagle beaks. It'll get through the jacket. And I cut a 4/0 with one hand. Again, 3/4 strip. Score, deep, split. And it just tears away, no score. Love it. All right. And for everybody wondering, yes, we did meter this before we touched, because sometimes breakers fail. I've seen it myself a handful of times, and it saved my life that same handful of times, that I didn't just assume it was dead. And it wasn't. Quarter turn. There we go. Nice and tight. Don't want to drop any of our stuff in the mud. But, all right. Just kind of show you guys what we got going on here. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's our cable in there again. Oh, comes up nice and smooth. And this is how we terminated it. This, see, that is, look at that aluminum, how it loosens itself over time. We'll give all these a tighten while we're in here. This is for one of the existing services for the shop. But yeah, it's been this is Corey with Polar Electric, and this is how we gland and terminate a Teck cable at a meter out on a pole. Have a good day. Bye.